There are some things that just can't be explained. Hello and welcome to Front Stroke. Today's episode features my 1967 Hermes 3000. Ah, Switzerland, cradle of the Alps, stunning vistas, winter sport, and a great place to hide if you've deserted the Italian army and impregnated your girlfriend. But for most of us, it remains the country of origin for one of the most infamous typewriters ever built. The story that culminated in this masterpiece began in 1814 with the creation of the Pilliard Company. Famous for music boxes and other trinkets, they began manufacturing typewriters in the 1930s. John Steinbeck used one of these early models, the Hermes Baby, to write his classic novel Of Mice and Men. The Hermes line was an immediate success. No one could argue against their quality and finely crafted precision. Sure, they had a hard time competing against American giants like Royal and Underwood, but the Hermes line has a special place in typing history, one that was cemented in 1958 when they introduced the Model 3000. The Hermes 3000 stands out like a diamond in a pile of ashes, a distinct seafoam green finish with a detachable half-shell case, paper clip for all your supplies, and then right in the front, a pretty obvious label. The keys have a great level of indentation, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. You've got a multi-layer ribbon color selector, and to my knowledge, the only visible margins on any typewriter produced in the latter half of the 20th century. A pretty neat package. When you sit down behind a Hermes 3000, you've got a work of mechanical art in front of you. If you want a typewriter for no other reason than to sit on your desk or in a living room and attract the gaze of your visitors, the Hermes 3000 would make wonderful eye candy. Everything on this machine screams out precision and refinement. The carriage return is butter smooth and almost silent. Because of the proximity of the paper guide, I can roll a new sheet into place without lifting the bail bar, just like my Olivetti 21. One of the biggest complaints I hear about the Hermes is the spongy feel of the keyboard. Yeah, it's there. The keyboard is gentle, but halfway resisting your touch. It's noticeable and quite odd at first, but for me it was only a matter of practice. I've actually grown quite attached to the feel of the 3000, and because of it, I'll probably keep it in my collection. The machine's pretty quiet too, much quieter than other portables of comparable size. Another complaint are the margin stops. Some people think they're unnecessarily complicated. I disagree. They may look different, but the margins themselves are no different from Royal's magic margin system. You have to hold the carriage release and then slide it to the point where you want the margin to stop. The Hermes system is actually a bit easier than the magic margin because you have better visibility. Now let's talk about the plastic parts. Yes, pieces on the machine like the platen knobs are fragile and they will break under heavy use because the material that they were made of is different from what you'll find on Royals, Underwoods, or other machines. Mine's missing its left platen knob, but I can still rotate it to feed paper if I have to. Keep an eye out for spare parts on eBay, and just make a mental note to use a little more caution when you're typing on the Hermes. As typewriters were phased out in favor of word processors and personal computers, the Hermes 3000 faded into obscurity along with the rest of analog technology. That all changed after one fateful night in 2006. Larry McMurtry was already famous for his Western epic Lonesome Dove, but then he won an Oscar for the adaptation of Brokeback Mountain. In his acceptance speech, he publicly thanked his Hermes 3000 typewriter for 30 years of words. Overnight, the value of a Hermes 3000 shot into the stupid sphere. A machine that had once been worth about $50 was now fetching over $250. These pictures were taken recently, so the effect hasn't really died off completely. The effect was so polarizing that it split the collecting community in two. On one hand, you've got those who love the 3000. It's the best machine ever made, a true oracle of the writing gods. You can get your novel done in 30 minutes. Heck, the muse will do the typing for you. Then there are those others who insist the Hermes is one of the most overrated, hyped up pieces of finicky junk that's ever been marketed. It will go out of its way to sabotage your work and make sure you never write again. And then there's guys like me, who think that while it's a wonderfully made machine, it's not the best typewriter out there. The Hermes 3000 is a great example of why we need a blue book in this hobby. There's little consensus on the value of a machine, and since typewriting collectors have been able to reach a new generation, more and more people are using famous authors to inflate the value of their stuff. Not a good mix. No doubt, the Hermes 3000 is a great machine, and I'd recommend it, so long as you're willing to learn how it works. Good deals can still be had if you're patient and find someone that's not interested in gouging you. Mine was purchased on Craigslist from a guy who had it in high school. Use your brain. As always, thoroughly inspect each machine before buying, and do not buy online unless the seller can ensure proper shipping. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.